Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Evil 8. My name is Action Jackson here with Fuji and Humanist, and we have our final series of the day for North America and for both regions here. It's going to be Fate versus Ardent Aurora. Now, if you want to vote as per usual, you can do so by typing !vote in the Twitch chat, followed by either Aurora or Fate. Fate are one game up, so maybe that'll influence your decision. Maybe it won't, if you're just voting for your fans. But, or
just vote for who
your
you
fans.
love.
I mean, for who you're a fan of.
I always vote for my fans.
Yes, exactly. And Ardent are big fans of ours, so
Yeah.
we'll be going with that.
All right, let's have a look at the rosters real quick. First up on your screens, we've got Ardent Aurora. The lineup is Wizard Sibs, Max Green, Polly, and Yazuru 3. They're going to be playing up against Fate, a team who recently made it to the Evil 8 through the Challenger Series, but have been struggling a little bit since they got here. The roster for Fate coming up in just a couple of seconds here. We've got Joker, Illust, and Eco.
Yep. Pretty good team.
Pretty good team. I mean, obviously they're a pretty good team.
They made it to the Evil 8.
Yeah, they did. But I mean, I know I've kind of been in the quarter of this Ardent Aurora team, but I think it's for a really good reason. Like, while they haven't performed in the top upper echelon of these Evil 8 teams, I feel they could easily be there within a season or two. And this isn't a team that I think feels like it's disbandy or inconsistent or unstable. Like, the effort that they put in is going to pay off for them.
Yeah, I think that some of these teams, like at the lower portion of Evil 8, the big thing they have to work on is their flexibility with hero pools and strategies of bringing multiple types of comps together as the meta shifts. We see a lot of these really signature picks coming from Ardent, signature picks coming from Fates, but what happens when those picks get taken away? What happens when they get pushed onto something they're not as comfortable with? And a lot of times they falter in this kind of pressure setting. So it's cool to see these teams going neck and neck. And if they can stick it out through the challenge battles that are coming later, then perhaps we'll get to see just what they will do in a future season.
Was that a new logo for Fate, or did I just miss that before?
I believe it is a new logo. They had a logo competition, I think, on Twitter.
Competizione, huh?
Pretty sure.
Competition. Well, Lance banned from Ardent, say no. Fate actually banned Celeste, which is pretty interesting.
No.
That is one of the favored pickups from them, but they don't want Yazaru or Wizard, whoever decides to take that. Play it. Ardent goes for a first pick Catherine, followed up with the Jewel and an Adagio. So this is quite a unique path to go down.
It's really unique, but check this out. When you're playing the Jewel, that stun is one of the most powerful stuns in the game, but it's kind of hard to land. You pair that up with a Catherine, it actually becomes very easy to land. Though we'll see obviously what they go for, but I feel like the weapon path of Jewel is a little underutilized and actually pretty strong.
You can buff it up too. I mean, is this Jewel lane though? Sibs is playing it.
It could be. I mean, like, when we look at someone like Kestrel, many times I've mentioned this in the past, it's such a niche opportunity to actually be able to run a CP Jewel into Kestrel, but it's actually pretty good. Pretty rare to see. Double CP, I don't know if they'll go that path, but the Bright Bulwark's going to be there to shut down some Jewel jumps too, which is probably the most awkward jump that gets stopped in midair. Because Jewel just face plants and falls straight down. Yeah, poor Jewel. But we'll see if her mech can make it over and through the woods.
All right, well, Fate is up one game so far, so quickly before we head on to the Halcyon Fold, who do you think is going to take it?
I feel like Fate has the composition that I would say, but I'm excited to see Ardent try this this new pick.
I'm going to go with Ardent on this one. Can you clarify for me real quick, does Fate have 1 point in this series?
They do.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. All right, let's head on to the Halcyon Fold and pass it on over to Jingyi and Forecourt Jester to take us through the action.
Well, yeah, a little bit of a different draft. I'll give him props for the originality of this one. I will say here, Shingi, that Fate really does feel a little bit more, quote, meta, definitely a little bit more current. But you never know. These oddball picks can really work itself out by the end of it just simply because you don't really know what to do against it.
Yeah, sometimes it works really well. So what we've got here is, because, like you said, it's quite meta comp, very pokey. You've got all 3 members of Fate Zero who can have this ability to poke really well at their opponents. And what you kind of need when you're against this triple poke is you need someone that's able to dive straight onto it. And I guess there's no better way of doing this than a Catherine and a Jewel, and if you can land that stun combo, you could potentially have things looking up for you. But it takes a lot of confidence when you're not winning to be able to dive in, and I'm wondering if things perhaps don't go their way at some point, will they be able to keep that mentality going?
Well, it's going to be certainly an interesting experience if that will come to pass or not. I was looking at the scoreboard here. VaingloryEsport.com is already updated with everything. So, yeah, this is actually the first point for Fate. This split. We're still looking for a point here from Ardent Aurora, but this also makes them tied out and hammers Velocity down to 7th. We'll have to see if they go down to 8th by the end of all of this. We'll have to see from the tiebreaker rules. But back to the present. We traded out 1-1, a little bit bloody as it got right there. Eco and Illis, they kind of split up at this point. Eco not going to be able to help out Illis too much, but will at least be able to explode the sigil on top of the rest of Ardent here. And Illis is still kiting out very nicely. Does Yazru have another jump? It's going to be coming up here soon, but here also comes Joker. Could Yazru be a bit too far forward at this point? Eco, remember, he's also a target here as well. Wizard Sibs able to get some damage done, but I think that's going to be it. Joker might have went down early, but he gets that kill. Polly's now here in town, and it's a bit of a rotating musical chairs of heroes at this point. Joker is going to be burning. He's going to be burning down hard, but Eco has him. That Polly now just trying to reflect the damage. We don't have another auto from Eco to wind up. No, I think that should be it.
That is definitely how it feels. Musical chairs. Good description, I like it. Because they were just wandering from one side of the map to the other and they were picking up heroes, losing heroes. Quite a busy start already.
Well, when you die early on in the fight and the fight is still going, you can come back to it. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting experience. And when it comes down to it, Fate getting that first point of the split puts a lot of the crowd behind them here. 76% going over to Fate in the user poll. So, audience, only 24% of you say that Ardents can get this point, and if they don't, they will actually go 0 for the split.
Well, I wonder how that's going to go, because I feel that if they can pull off this unorthodox comp, we could easily be seeing a 1-1 here between these two teams.
I think the late game of Fate, if they can get to it, I mean, based upon a lot of evidence, they should be able to reign supreme out of that. I would have expected Ardent to go a little bit more ham earlier on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They've got the late game advantage and they definitely scale better as a composition once they get into the late game, especially with not only the Samuel but the Kestrel as well. And Kestrel, the problem is that Kestrel is against his Catherine. Catherine's a really good counter going for Kestrel, so that may negate some of the damage that she has. But Joker!
He tried.
He did try, you can't deny that. But Wizard Sibs there did a good job there.
Alright, 2-2 for kills, dead even on gold. So far, not giving any ground from either side. Illis and Eco were very buddy-buddy. They're up in the jungle. But at this point, Yazru, he's already back on his side of the fold. Polly has now started up the Trent. There's absolutely no way that it's going to get stolen out. And what will Yazru be building into? Looks like it'll be a weapon jewel to go with Crystal Adagio.
I think that'll work really well. So, probably the Sorrow Blade. Crit works really well with her kit as well. And she might have to go for some attack speed as well, because attack speed decreases the cooldown or the Thunder Strike. So if I'm not saying she should go get a Tornado Trigger, but if she did, her Thunder Strike would be up every single second. But I would not recommend that Thunder Strike.
Well, we're going to be actually looking for the Rocket Lead, the Goomba Stomp on top of Eco, and that's going to be enough for a kill. And between the stun there from Polly to line up for Yazru, that's a great 1-2 crowd control punch right there. Wizard Sibs just free reign to machine gun on top of him. He's likely going to be getting into that alternating current here in the next minute or so. He definitely has the money. Just needs to find the opportunity. And instead of Joker, it's again going to be the combo on top of Illist, and Sibs will once again get the kill.
Really nicely done. The thing about the Ardent Aurora comp right now is that it's all focused on picking out one key member. They're focusing on that one person, and they're doing it really fast, especially we are in the early stages of the game, and we are seeing them going a little bit more ham, as you wanted them to. I think once we do get to the late game, though, we're all seeing these probably 3v3s, they're going to have an issue with perhaps jumping in on one person, because they might not have enough burst to take that one person down, and then you have to deal with whoever they haven't jumped on dealing damage onto them.
Crucibles and Reflex will be very key to avoiding this as well. And Yazru with that big red button, it's not going to be hitting oodles and oodles of damage. A weapon jewel, it'll still hurt, but it won't be that face melting kind of what we're used to out of a jewel.
Yeah. Sorry, I just lost track again. Yes, that is what they need. The jewel has Jewel and the Captain combo has an upper hand right now because there's no reflex blocks. There's no reflex blocks. It comes down to this.
Might change that here, but it's going to be first item for Joker. He picks up that Myth. We got the fountains on both sides here. Illis did actually get that Sora Blade as well. But we do have the tier 3s ready to go, at least for Wizard Sibs. Yasuo has the money to go get the Soro, and it would be definitely in their best interest to go pick it up before a fight. And we're pretty much on even ground. Again, the cash, not that different. It's 1,000 gold up to Ardent, though. So they are kind of holding the reins for this one, at least for now. But it's not an insurmountable difference. If we have another stun combo, I mean, Fate, they're going to be forced into those reflexes earlier rather than later.
The thing is about the stuns, though, they have Lyra there as well, and her bulwark could prevent both of those stuns, but they're doing it so fast, they're jumping straight from bushes, that at this point you need to rely on vision to see when they're doing it, so you can watch them projecting their skill and then block it using the bulwark. But we saw it just do it just then, but the moment the flares run out, they're going to be able to focus it down onto either Joker or Illis.
Yeah. So, need to stay mobile, need to get some defense. Ardent Aurora, I'm a little surprised that they haven't tried to do this combo yet. Illis does actually have that reflex this time, though, so it might be a little bit harder to land on the Kestrel, but as well, I mean, continuing to push up the lane, Ardent are kind of robbing themselves of opportunities anyways. If they get a little bit too close to that turret, it could be the tipping point in those fights, and just kind of continuously pushing up. Yeah, it's keeping Fate very visible, keeping very busy. Now there's going to be a goldmine attempt here, but there's nobody up in lane. We can see that the Samuel's all the way back home. We got a flare on 2 of Fate right here. Will there be that stun attempt? Polly's actually just going to avoid everything. He's going to go in. The big red button will get damage done. Eco so very low. Yasuo's jumping and he's looking for the kill, and they're going to get it. It's the silence from Polly and the blast tremor in order to make it happen. The stun on top of Joker, that's Sibs to clean up. And if Sibs had boots, he could have actually chased down Illis for the triple. But for now, a 2-0 exchange, no gold mine to go over. But Ardent very much in the driver's seat.
Yeah, at the start of that fight when they were on the gold mine, it looked like it was going to go really badly for Ardent Aurora because the gold mine was still going on them. And I think Yazurus? No, Polly was getting quite low because she was still taking damage from the gold mine. And then when we just saw Joker and Eco just running down there, it looked so bad for them, but they were able to turn it around very nicely, thanks to Wizard Sibs versus Judgment.
I gotta also say, the big red button, everybody clumped up. Fate just trying to get around that corner, trying to do damage. It was a prime target, and yeah, if it had been Crystal, it would have been just face-melting kills everywhere, but with the weapon, they did survive it. It was eventually a 2-0. Goldmine will still survive, however. But again, Ardent, with this a little bit more of a crazier comp, they're starting to pull ahead, and if they keep up this momentum, this will be a game 3 in their favor.
Yeah, it's looking very good for them, and the stun combo is really proving something that Fate Zero are struggling with. Now that Joker and Illis both have that reflex block, it should be a little bit easier. However, the problem is now that Polly's level 8, he does have that silence available, and Eco doesn't have that crisp to block the blast tremor. Oh gosh, Eco's taking a lot of damage there.
Stun combo into Wizard Sibs. He hits hard. He's looking for that second item. Not quite there here 10 minutes in, but he at least has the piercing shard. So Eco on notice. Doesn't really have too much shield past that fountain there. Is looking for the crucible as we speak, but here comes Illis as well. And the big red button will start doing some work, but it's not enough for a kill. The turret is down low. Polly and stun combo again. They bring down Illis. No reflex block to be used. Wizard Sibs gets slept up by the Oblivion. Joker, however, is going to be taking some shots there. A little bit too close to that Adagio. And one more stun combo actually could still be it here for Joker. Polly's looking for it. It gets blocked out. Turret is down. And Yasuo, he's going to go in. He's looking for the damage, and he's going to be bringing Joker back to the brink of death. If Joker stands a little bit too much farther forward, Ardent might have been able to capitalize, but we can see they've actually now, they've done their work. They got a kill. They got the turret. Now they're cleaning up some jungle.
They're doing so well right now, and I'll keep mentioning that Catherine silence at the start of the fight. Blast Tremor wasn't blocked because Eco does not have that crystal. He does now, though. And it was so easy for them because Illis and Joker couldn't use their reflex blocks just for them to jump on Illis. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone go down so fast. It was absolutely incredible, the rates at which he died.
Come on, Joel. If we get this win, I'm going to avoid solo queue for a week. But you never know. I mean, this could actually still work out. The hit still goes south. We do got the block, though. That was not Crucible. That was actually just the reflexes from Joker. Crucible still ready to go. Looks like Ardent, they're done. They tried the combo, it didn't work. They're gonna back off, reset. Big red button and Versa Judgment ready to go, but the blast tremor still 20 seconds.
There's 20 seconds for clock forward, 16 now for Catherine, but 5 seconds left for Joker's Oblivion. And if they can potentially chain this, I think right now what's the problem is Poli's doing a really good job of frontlining there and reflecting a lot of the damage coming out from the Kestrel. This could potentially be a good engagement.
This actually could be it. That's what they were looking for. Poly got the silence off. I'm not entirely too sure if the Crucible hit it, but the auto attacks were good enough. Wizard Sibs is going to get started to hunt down. Illust and Joker are here. The Oblivion does get dodged out, but Sibs, he's cornered. He has nowhere left to go, but he's going to try to take Illust down with him. We've got the Fountain out of Eco. Just too afraid to trade it 1 for 1.
I think it was interesting that you used the Fountain, because I feel like Illust wouldn't have died. I feel like if he's just gone up straight and got the tree in, he could have survived without using the Fountain, but it's being used now and all 3 members are still alive. They get the trade off, but they're not going to get the turret out of this. That was a really good fight for them. It was important that they were able to block the blast tremor, and by doing that they were able to separate the members of Ardent Aurora and then very quickly focus on the Wizard Sibs.
2 item spike coming out, Joker and Illust. We pick up that monocle. We have an Eva Harvest here for the Samuel. Yasuo did actually pick up the monocle a little bit earlier on, but it didn't seem to matter that fight. He made a quick exit out of it. And Sibs, of course, been sitting on his 2 here for a little bit, just a few moments. So 1,000 gold now going to go here into Sibs' pocket. We got 1,300 there for Yasuo, and 13 minutes in, I'd say it's prime time to pick up some infusions, but it's going to be an Aegis instead here for Sibs. Yasuo upgraded something, and no infusions yet.
Joker could get the infusion. You can see the double infusions for the side of Fate Zero. That could be quite a good fight for them to be picking, like you said, because we are getting to prime time, as you said.
Yeah, if Joker gets his here as well, he has the money. Illust can pop his whenever he really wants, but they're all kind of far back here in the fold. Ardent Aurora will just defend out lane, a little bit of cash more into their pocket. They are still leading when it comes to the money, about 3,000 or so. So it has kept going up and up despite that setback. 3,000 gold, it's pretty decent here at 14 minutes in. It's not game ending, but they are still leading.
They're still leading. I think one thing that they need to do, the one problem that Fate Zero have right now is dealing with this comp is that they need a lockdown of themselves, and the only one that they really have is, I guess, the Oblivion, but also the Kestrel's active camo, but it's really difficult for her to land it, because I think she needs to try and get onto Yasuo and Poli and just bait them into jumping on her before using it and reflex blocking away. But that's going to be quite difficult for her to pull off, and it's a very risky one to do as well. But I think if she was able to do that, that could potentially change the game.
The only real active camo I would expect is when Yasuo jumps in with the rocket jump, because then you can just place the camo under her feet, and it's something of an easy counter, especially late game if you go into the weapon like Illust has. Just kind of hang out there with Joker, and as long as there's no silence or anything, or you block out the silence, right, you can easily set up that camo. And Yasuo does actually have the reflex, but will he be ready for that kind of counterplay?
I don't know. He's got his own reflex block, and it just depends on his reaction time as well. Because it's going to be very difficult, because what we're seeing is Catherine's going in first. So not only does Illust have to block the reflex block coming from the Catherine, he also has to kind of time the rocket leap from Yasuo. So they could one-shot, one-kill it.
They'd have to be very aware that this is happening. I don't think they have any idea. They just got a flare, and there's the one-shot. Yeah, it's too little too late, and they gave that one up pretty easily. They stayed in lane, they were very visible, there was no vision. Ardent are going to be pushing.
Well, thanks to Catherine's contraption, she's done a good job of laying down vision, and if you look at Fate Zero's, it really doesn't compare, because I see one scout trap down coming out from Fate Zero, or Zero now, and I see about at least 10 coming out from Aurora.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of a difference there, Jinny. Yeah. Well, with the Kraken pushing in, Sibs and Yasuo, they're going to be looking for some ins on top of this turret. The Kraken, however, will bring it down. We do actually have that blast tremor. Poly tried it. We have the Crucible now on cooldown. That's going to be the stun there on top of Eco. He had the bulwark just to keep everyone at bay. Yasuo still have that rocket jump ready to go. We've popped out infusions left and right. Illis and everyone else. In fact, it's 6 infusions across the board, and that's going to be a big red, but doesn't really catch too many. 1 turret for the Kraken, not the push Ardent thought that they could get.
No, and as a result, we're going to be seeing Fate Zero just narrowing the goal difference a little bit. They're still about 3k behind, or 2.6k behind Ardent Aurora. But the thing is, they're this triple poke comp. Right now, we're not seeing much poking coming out from them. I don't think we're seeing any. What we're just seeing is Ardent Aurora choosing the target, diving onto them, deleting them, and then rinse and repeat.
A little bit earlier on, you did mention, late game, it's going to be rather hard to execute this comp, and it really seemed like we're finding a lot of ins here at the 17-minute mark.
No, I feel like Fate Zero aren't that behind in gold. Itemization-wise, they should still be keeping relatively even, and we can definitely see that.
Yep, looking for 3rd item on Joker. That's a little late, but he did get into the Aegis first.
Yeah, he is. I think that's a good choice, because Wizard Sibs was absolutely deleting them from the back line, because Poli or Yazarus is jumping onto them, and Wizard Sibs was healing and then using his Agent of Wrath, and it was absolutely doing so much damage to them. So Aegis is a good choice there.
Poli just putting up some interference right there. We didn't actually have Yazuru in position for anything. Not that they really knew that here from Fate. And they are going to get that retreat. They do have now, they have rectified their vision problem. They have put down traps in every single bush. We have one now popped out. Poli actually just put down another. And this is just going to, it feels like it's just going to come down to another Kraken, right? If somebody starts it up, there's going to be a lot of know-how on that one. Sibs, though, just removed everything. Just kind of walked through, all except one.
Yeah, they definitely have control of the jungle right now. Dominance-wise, this could be bad, really bad. Ooh, they need to be able to poke a little bit more and build up those broken myth stacks.
Yeah, they can try to stack up the breaking point, too. Be a little tough. There's the Kraken, and just like that, this is going to be a little bit more of a poke. I was curious, will this be the fight? Is Poli going to commit? Gosh, still looking for that stun. He is shopping, though. We just actually drank out that potion. Yazoo and Sibs are here ready to go. Everything is off cooldown, and Kraken, at least survive a little bit longer. Joker's going to get some damage done. There's the flare. And Ardent, well, that's going to be the retreat, at least up to the bush. What will they do after that? Are they going to push out? The Kraken actually starts off with that scout trap. They jump, they find Eco, stun, can't go anywhere, has to use the portals now, and Sibs, he follows through. They're going to get that kill. The big red button, Yazro is going to just deter any kind of chase, and now Poli and Sibs, they're looking to go mano a mano. The fountain is out. Illis had some big damage on top of Sibs, but now it looks like they have not found anything else out of this one. Poli's covering the retreat.
They get one.
Yazro at the foot. That is the 1-for-1 trade. Poli's going to be coming down low. Joker looking to turn it around. Sibs hits like a truck, but it's the double. Triple even for Illist. 1 to remain of 6. It is Fate now pushing up on this turret.
They're not going to get the Kraken, at least. We're not going to see Fate Zero gain the Kraken. Illist doesn't have the ability to do so, but they are going to get the turrets out of this. And they're going to get 2. You're right, actually. And that's going to narrow the goal difference nicely for them. So in the last team fight, what we saw is they focused on, they didn't mean to focus on Eco. They meant to go for Kestro, but she boosted out of the way, and Eco found herself the target instead. And the thing about focusing on the roam is that it leaves Illis and Joker open to do lots of damage, and that did happen. Eco was able to get to safety, but by that point, Joker had a full broken mid stacks, and Illis had an incredible amount of burst, and still relatively live. Thank you. Just gave birth, yeah.
Well, Kraken survived through all of it. 9 kills and 7. Fate just kind of plugging up that goal difference again. There's about 1,000 between them now. And Ardent Aurora have lost out a little bit of this momentum. That's portals and bulwark. That's a big tool out of the shed here. And Ardent were not caught. So more infusions across everything. Sibs just going pure blue. You check him out. He has that broken myth, has a shard on top of it there. Column 4 item, 3.5 maybe if you want. Joker, very similar, 3 item spike there for him. Double monocles for Illust on top of things. He's going to be hitting real hard here, and we're still looking for that engage. Still looking for Illust. They're going to come around the corner. Polly, block.
Nice.
No silence here, and no portals there either, but we had that camo, and that stops up Ardent. Now they're getting turned around, but Joker in the front, he's the target. Sims in the first, only clips. Eco, I think the big red is going to just tip away. There's no kills yet. Fate still going strong. Lyra with the heals, just trying to bring him back to par. But there we have some potions. Ardent trying to heal up. Yazro almost all the way home. This leads him into a 2v3. Polly going to try to split here from Sibs, and I'm not entirely too sure who's going to drop.
I'm not sure why. Oh, I feel like they could get away because of like the shop.
Polly has no more Stormguard. Illus hit camo. She hit Stormguard. Just kind of killed her at the end of it all. Sibs will survive at the same time as Yazuru, but they've lost out a lot of pressure.
I mean, that's all very good and well that they have managed to lose. They've lost to Catherine, but you've still left the two carries alive. And the duo, she's got her big red button available. They could potentially snipe the Goldmine, the Kraken out with the big red button here.
Big red. We got, yeah, that's kind of the only gimmick in the bank, but that's not going to happen. No vision, no idea, or at least just opting to not do anything about it.
Well, this has completed turn 9-8, and Ardent Aurora is slightly ahead in gold right now, but I think the main thing is that one team fight managed to change everything with Phase 0 left with Illus alive, and now it feels like Zero have the upper hand, just because they are engaging a little bit more. And again, there was in the last fight we did see a really nice triple active camel stun coming out from the Kestrel, and I'm wondering if they can pull out something like that again.
And that really reset it. You're like, oh, it's going to be really hard for the camos, but nope, made it happen. Illus the god right now. We do have actually armor on Illus and Joker as well, so if Yazuru does go in deep like this, he's going to have to get that damage done quick as he can. Joker split away from the team, but Yazuru in a 2v1 doesn't get the kill. Oblivion is actually going to catch out Polly, and that's it for Sims. This is now up to Catherine to defend, and that's not going to be in the cards. Joker and Illus chasing her down, and we are going to be running out of actives here. That's going to be the ace. Joker picked it up. Kraken pushing in, and Eco there side by side. This could be game, Shingi, and this will be 2-0 for Fate. And they are denying every single point to Ardent that they can.
It was a shaky start for them for this game, and I think that's absolutely undeniable. And they managed to turn it around. The stun combo was very difficult. I think they were looking for the Celeste Catherine duo combo, but got denied from them from the start with the ban. They did really well at the start. You did say they needed to let it go a little bit more aggressive at the start, just to take advantage of the stuns and the lack of reflex blocks, and I feel like they did do that. But there was just came in that key fight where Illus was the only one left alive, was able to take down two Krakens and get the ace. Not two Krakens, two turrets and get the ace. That was so important because it just changed the momentum. It just flipped on its head there.
Well, Illus playing the game of his life, 7-2-3. 117 farm, not so bad, but again, they picked up those coda plates. The second to last fight, Joker and Illus picking up into the tier 2 armors. Goes a long way to deny Yazuru when he ended up in that 2v1 at the end there, Xingyi. That was pretty much it. Like, there was no way he was going to get those kills.
Yeah, there was no way, but he did so well from staying alive, and a part of the reason... So we had this two sets of 2v1s going down. You had Eco and Illus focusing onto Wizard Sibs, and then you had Yazurus and Polly taking in Joker, but Joker was able to stay alive thanks to his heroic perk and thanks to that Evil Harvest, enabling him to stay alive there. It was absolutely incredible, and by him being able to stay alive in the 1v2, they pulled through and were able to just sweep up the ace there.
Well, that's going to be it here, ladies and gentlemen, from Forecourt and Xingyi and the Fold. Congratulations to all the winners. We'll see more of them tomorrow. We'll figure out who's going to Worlds, but for now, back to the Endless, and then dear to my heart, it's going to be Action Jackson, Humanist, and Fuji.
Thank you very much, guys. All right, so Fate managed to win the series 2-0. This does mean that Ardent is guaranteed to be playing in the challenge battle. Fate technically still have a chance to escape that fate, but we'll see if they can do it.
That'd be pretty cool.
It was a pretty interesting game, though, guys, don't you think? I mean, the Jewel, Adagio, Catherine, I almost feel like it could have worked if maybe things were just played a little bit differently.
Almost did work.
It almost did work, right?
Or maybe if, like, Eco would miss one Crucible all game long.
Those were golden.
Like,
those were really good.
every time the Catherine ult came out, the Crucible popped off. Even when it was blatant, when it was kind of a surprise, even to me, is like the spectator wondering, like, when is Catherine going to throw this out? And I'm like, oh, well, there it is. And then the next thing you know, Crucible, like, every time it mattered.
A couple times, though, it was beyond obvious, though.
Still had to do it.
Still did it. All right, credit where credit's due. We blocked them.
Can't be like, guys, it was obvious. Now we can't do anything for 3 seconds. It's still nice to see that, like, even in the obvious moments,
I
someone's
disagree with that, actually.
still hitting it. Because there's a number of moments where the actual engage potential coming from that team is pretty important, especially with Jewel jump. She can just jump in after the silence done, lock somebody down.
Exactly. If you silence them and they can't react to the jump for the entirety of the jump, you know, you can't throw the Bright Bulwark down and stop it midair. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and a lot of times for roamers, too, what might be obvious is not necessarily obvious to your carries, who are thinking about other things mechanically, setting themselves up for the team fight. The roamer has to really make sure they're on point all game long. That was just a very impressive showcase of playing against the Catherine, which is not a very popular meta pick in Evil 8 right now.
Absolutely. And Eco on his Lyra is going to be our MVP for that series. I think we can all agree those Crucibles were critical to the victory there. Fate moves forward to day 2. Let's do one more giveaway real quick. We're going to do hashtag Evil 8 in the chat for your chance to win some ice. So, guys, we've wrapped up day 1 of our final weekend of Evil 8 for the autumn season. It's been pretty intense. Having a look at the bracket, we can see the matchups we have for tomorrow. We've got Gangstar Sirius up against Kinetic, a critical match. If Sirius wins even one game in that series, or in the third place series, and Kinetic don't win the entire week, Gangstars are going to Worlds. It's a very similar situation, actually, to what we had just one round earlier in Europe with Cerberus. Now, we've also got Phoenix Rain up against Fate. It's an important matchup for these guys because they're trying to avoid the challenge battles, so we'll see how they do there. The finals are also going to be kind of an interesting series because it's going to be one of the bottom 2 teams against one of the top 2 teams. It's a good opportunity for practice for the bottom team and to show, show their stuff, really try and prove themselves. For the top teams, it's kind of like a let's make sure we're good, moving into Worlds. Whoever gets there is fairly likely to be a contender for Worlds still. So, it's going to be an interesting day of games. Having a look at the points now, we can see how things are shaking out for both regions, Europe and North America. Sirius leading with 14, followed by Team Solo Mid at 13. Team Solo Mid cannot get any more points, though. Cloud9 in the same boat. They can't get any more. They're sitting at 11. Kinetic at 9. Need to win the entire thing, and for Sirius to lose every single one of their games tomorrow for Kinetic to actually get out of the Evil 8 into the World Championship. And speaking of Worlds, guys, let's do one more plug for that because it's going to be super exciting.
Yes.
You definitely want to tune in. Well, you know what is
That's
sold
what we're
out?
trying
Those
to
VIP tickets.
And the hoodie.
Ooh, well done.
And the hoodie tickets. But between December 2nd and 4th at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California, the first Vainglory World Championships is happening. It's going to be amazing. If you want tickets, head on over to the, by the way, newly kitted out website, vaingloryesports.com. What?
.com.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that. I mean, I did say that.
You did say I don't know what you're talking about.
He was
in,
trying
there
to
was like an
finish your
echo in
sentence.
here.
Like,
Right.
when people are really, like, connected, he wanted to finish your sentence for you.
I wouldn't pretend like we had some synergy up here. Rip.
No. No. All right, well, thank you for watching today, guys. It's been a great day of games. Europe, of course, we know that Gangstar Cerberus is the 3rd team to be making it to the World Championships. For North America, we're going to have to see what happens in that Group A semifinals tomorrow and the 3rd place match. Make sure you don't miss it because pretty soon, guys, we've got the World Championships coming up.